Hello, everyone. Rilus Dana here to talk about trustees today. Let me press the button for Instagram as well. There we go, live on Instagram too. So today, talking about trustees. What is a trustee? How do you choose a trustee? How do you remove a trustee? So let's get into it. Let me share my screen here. And we'll talk about trustees. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is where I practice law, Arizona and California, Rilus law. So a trust, what is a trust? So a trust, it's a legal document or a contract. The person that makes a trust is called the trustor. Sometimes it's called the settlor or the trust maker. I call it the trustor or like the boss. That's why there's a briefcase. Bosses use briefcases. The trustee is the manager, or the bookkeeper. So the trustee manages the trust for the benefit of a beneficiary. So a trust is a set of instructions, and it designates who the successor trustee is going to be. So who's going to manage things if the original person can't, and then who's going to receive things after the trust creator passes away. So that's the basics of a trust. Okay, so how do you choose a trustee? Who should you choose to name as the trustee of your trust? So the trustees, they're going to be managing it. So your choices are, you can name a person. A lot of times we'll look to the beneficiaries of the trust. So it could be your kids if they're old enough and responsible enough, you can name them as the trustee. It could be a different person, or it could be an institution. It could be like a bank or a financial company. Now, the reason I decided to make this video today, I'm seeing a trend where these banks and institutions are getting out of the business of serving as trustee unless the trust has significant assets, usually like over 5 million. For these trusts with less than 5 million, I'm seeing where banks and financial institutions, they don't want to serve as trustee. So a lot of them are consolidating their departments, where they don't have a local office anymore. And maybe I think Arizona, I think like the whole Southwest is managed by one office for a lot of these banks and institutions. So for the smaller accounts, I'm seeing where they're resigning as trustee. So if the corporation isn't a good fit, you can name a fiduciary company. So there's companies where that's their business. They serve as a fiduciary. So that could be as a trustee of a trust for someone, or they also serve as guardians or conservators for incapacitated people. So people who lack the ability to manage things themselves can hire a fiduciary company. That's also a choice for your trust. You can name one of these fiduciary companies. Or you may even name your lawyer or your law firm that did your trust to serve as a trustee. We sometimes do that for our clients, so we can serve as a trustee. Now, what I tell people is I'm good at dividing things and splitting things up, but I'm not good at the ongoing care management. So that's when we'll bring in someone like a licensed fiduciary to serve, to do that part. So if you're creating a trust, you want to think about, who is that going to be for you that's going to manage it? Or it could be, if you're the beneficiary of a trust, you might be the beneficiary where you're the one receiving from a trust and someone else is the trustee. If you wanted to remove that trustee, that could be an option potentially. Or a lot of times, again, part of this trend I'm seeing is either companies getting out of the business of trustee, or they're retiring as trustee. I've seen irrevocable trust created. ILITs were common, irrevocable life insurance trust. they were more common back when the exemption against the estate tax was lower and more families had estate tax issues. So they'd create an irrevocable trust to hold the life insurance. But then what's happened is the trustee is an attorney or a CPA who is retiring and no longer wants to serve. So what do you do in that situation? So that's something we're happy to help families out with. If you find yourself in that situation, we can either amend the irrevocable trust. Yes, it is possible to amend and change an irrevocable trust. The process in Arizona and California, it's known as decanting. That allows us to non-judicially, meaning without court, change a trust in certain circumstances. Or we can always petition the court. So we can ask the court for guidance. But the reason these states pass these decanting laws is to allow, they know there's a lot of crappy trusts out there. They know there's a lot of trusts where trustees have resigned and things have changed. So they don't want the courts to get bogged down amending these trusts. So they provided another way to do it. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're the beneficiary of a trust and you'd like to make a change, that's something that we can help with. Or if you're setting up your own estate plan, we can help you do that. We'll help counsel you in how to choose a trustee that's right for your situation. Hope you found this helpful. Let me know other topics that you'd like to hear about in the future. We'll see you next time.